So good morning, I am Dr. V.S. Saranya. Today I am going to discuss about the topic called typecasting, conditional and looping statement. What is typecasting or type conversion in C language or C++ language, in any language? It means one data type can be converted into another data type, that is called a type conversion. C++ allow us to convert a data of one type to the another type. So this can be done by using two ways. One is implicit type conversion, another one is explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion means a smaller data type can be converted into a bigger data type by the compiler itself without any user intervention. Explicit type conversion doesn't. It means that a smaller data type can be converted into bigger one, and vice versa is also possible, but it is done by the user, not by the compiler. So these are all the two types of conversions. Here, this is the example for implicit type conversion. Boolean can be converted into character, character can be converted into short integer to integer, integer to float, and so on. So this is called the implicit type conversion. This is the example for implicit type conversion. Here hash include iostream.h, it denotes C++. We are using C++ header file, and using namespace standard same as iostream.h, it denotes that we are using C++ compiler and all. Here x is an integer variable assigned with the value 10, y is a character variable assigned with the value a. Now we are trying to add two things. One is integer x plus character y. So many students thought that it shows some error, but it don't. Here the character is converted into integer automatically by the compiler. We know that ASCII value of small a is 97 by default. So 97 is added with 10. So the value is stored in the x again. So answer is 107. This is called the implicit type conversion. Here character a is automatically converted into 97 and it is added with 10. This is called the implicit type conversion. Again another example, x plus 1.1. Here we already x value is 107. 107 plus 1.1. So here the value is 108.1. Again 107 integer is converted into float value automatically, implicitly, and the value is stored in the z and z is printed. So it is clear that a smaller data type can be converted into a larger data type by the compiler itself, is called implicit type conversion. Second one is explicit type conversion. This is the process of typecasting done by the user. Here the user can typecast the result to change from one data type to another data type. For example, in this program, x is a variable is declared as a double variable, that is point variable, point value 1.2, x is assigned with 1.2. Here this is called explicit type conversion. X is converted into integer by the user. This is the syntax for explicit type conversion. Data type should be written within bracket before the variable. Now the x is converted into integer variable called 1 and 1 is added with 1. So the result is integer 2 that is stored in sum and that is printed. Here the larger data type double is converted into a smaller data type integer by the user. This is called explicit type conversion. So as I conclude, there are two types of conversions. One is implicit and explicit conversion. Both conversions are used whenever we want to print the result as the format as we required. For example, if I want to result in integer, then we can go for conversion. If I want to assign a double value but the result should be in integer or some other data type, at that time type conversion will work fine. My next topic is about conditional and looping statement. There are three types of conditional and looping statement. Here this is a sequence, another one is conditional, another one is looping. As we know what a sequence method is, there is no if else condition, there is no branching statements from void main to last get ch or up to the last. The program is executed sequentially without any branching, without any condition. That is called a sequence type. So for example, in this program, int main a is declared, b is declared, and both the values user input is getting from the user, and both the values are added and result is printed. So that this is called a sequence program. There is no conditional statement, branching statement, looping statement, nothing in this program. So this is called a sequence type. Second one is selection. Selection statement causes a program control to be transferred based on the user decision. So if I want to execute one true part and if I want to execute one false part, that time I go for selection. For example, if the particular condition is true, one set of statements to be executed. If the condition is false, another set of statements to be executed, means I can do like that. That is called selection statements. There are three kinds of selection statements majorly. One is if statement, another one is if else, another one is nested if else. See, this is called a if statement. Here the syntax is if within brackets the condition. If the condition is true, if part will work, otherwise it comes out of the loop. If the condition is false, it comes out of the loop. This is the example program for if statement. The user is allowed to get one integer. If the integer is positive integer, then if the number is greater than 0, you enter a positive integer will work. If it is if a user enter the negative value, then this statement is always executed. This part will work. This is called a if statement. Next conditional construct is if else statement. So in if else, if the condition is true, one set of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, another set of statements will be executed. That is called a if part and else part. Else means false part. As shown in the diagram, if the condition is true, if part statements will work. If the condition is false, it goes to the else part statements will be working. So again the same program what we had seen in the if statement. If the user is allowed to enter the number, if the number is positive, then this if part will work. If the user enters the negative number, if part won't work, it goes to the else part and this will be executed. For example, if a user gives the number 5, 5 is greater than 0, the condition is true, then you entered a positive integer, that part will work. If the user enters -2 as his input, then it goes to the else part, you entered a negative integer will work. And this cout, this line will always printed, will be printed because it is out of if condition and else condition, so this part will work automatically. Next conditional statement is nested if else statement. Nested if else means one if else is nested within the if part or the else part. For example, here the inner if else is nested in this if part. Okay. For example, the same program, user is allowed to enter a number. If the user enters the number as 5, it will check first 5 is not equal to 0. The condition is true. Then it will come into the inner if statement and 5 is greater than 0 also. Then it will print the number is positive. If suppose the user enters -1 is not equal to 0, this if condition is true. But -1 is greater than 0, this if condition is false, then it will go to the else statement, it will print that the number is negative. So basically the nested if else statement, thus one if else is entire if else is nested within the if statement, or the if else is nested within the else statement. So in this program, one if else is nested within this if statement. So that is called a nested if else statement. If suppose the user enters the value as 0, then 0 not equal to 0, the condition is false. Then it will come to the else part and it will say that the number is 0 and it is neither positive nor negative. This is called a nested if else statement. These are all some of the sample outputs for the above program. Next one is iteration or looping statement. What is the difference between conditional statements and looping statement means if a condition is true, one set of statement will be executed only once. If the condition is false, another set of statement will be executed only once. That is called a conditional statement. Looping the sense, if a user wants to execute a set of statement repeatedly for more number of times, then we go for looping. So there are two main types of looping. One is while loop, another one is for loop. For loop. So this is the syntax for loop. For is a keyword, initialization should be here, and then the condition, and then increment or decrement should be there at the last. Inside the for loop we can write our statements. So as per this flowchart, first initialization will work in for loop and the condition is tested. If the condition is true, then it will come into the loop and the statement is executed. Increment or decrement will work. This will continue up to the condition is false. Once the condition is false, it will come out of the loop and looping terminates. Rest of the statements will be work. This is the example for loop. Here for int I equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. Here I value is printed for 5 times. First, at the first iteration, I equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to 5 condition true. Then it will come inside the loop. First time increment or decrement won't work in for loop. It will come inside the statement. I is printed, so 1 is printed. Next 1 is incremented as 2. 2 less than or equal to 5 condition true. Then 2 is printed, 3 is printed. At one time 5 less than or equal to 5 condition true, 5 is printed. Another time 6 less than or equal to 5 condition is false, then it will come out of the loop. Up to 5 the program is executed. This is the syntax and simple example for loop. These are all the other examples for loop. And another important looping statement is while loop. It is little bit different from for loop. Here initialization is given at the top of the while loop, condition is given inside the bracket, increment and decrement is given inside the looping statement. This is the flowchart for loop. First initialization will be while loop. First initialization will be given and then the condition is checked. Once the condition is true, it will come inside the loop. The statement is executed. If the condition is false, it come out of the loop and the loop terminates. And this is the example program for while loop. Here as I said, initialization is given in the top, I equal to 1. Condition is given inside the while loop, I less than or equal to 5. This condition is true, so this statement is printed. Increment or decrement given inside the while loop. This looping statement will executed continuously running up to the condition is satisfied. Once the condition is failed, then it will come out of the loop. Next looping statement is do while. The do while is called exit control loop, while is called entry control loop. So in the do while, the set of statements given inside the do will be executed at least once and then it check for condition. So this is the syntax for do while. Here do is a keyword. Inside we are giving all the statements. At the end we are giving the condition in the while statement. This is the difference between while loop and do while. In while loop we are giving the condition at the first line itself, but in the do while we are giving the condition at the last. This is the example for do while. Here initialization is done, I equal to 1. And then here this do statements will work at least one is printed and then one is incremented and then condition is checking. 1 is less than or equal to 5, again this will work. 1 is incremented as 2, 3, 4, 5 and when it is 6 less than or equal to 5, condition false, it come out of the loop. So do means this part will work at least once in its lifetime. So it is called exit condition loop. So as I conclude, there are two kind of branching statements. One is conditional statements, another one is looping statement. Conditional statement again divided into three types. One is if, another one is if else, another one is nested if else, and looping statements is divided into two. One is while, for loop and do while. So these all are very important to write a perfect coding. Thank you.